Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 on our planet. Hope you are all swell and doing well. Get your rest now, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the upcoming geomagnetic instability, solar storm coming up this Friday. Again, this is going to be the first time in quite a while since we've had a solar storm hitting our planet. So I'm not sure which region from the sun this came from, and at this time it doesn't matter. What matters is the timing. When plasma stream is going to reach our Earth, and what we should expect. Now, this is actually going to be a test, really. Because again, it's been quite a while since we've had a coronal mass injection, CME, which is the plasma stream containing the billions of tons of highly charged particles hitting our protective, yet weakening magnetosphere. So it's going to be an observation on how we withstand these effects as well as on our planet. It should be noted that all of our previous major earthquakes, and we've had quite a few, it's not just Turkey, we've had many, many sevens, were not as the result of incoming solar storms. But let's stick with us for a moment. So first, this does not mean some cataclysmic event is going to be happening this weekend or starting this Friday. Okay, it simply is the first time in a long time that we're going to be hit with a coronal mass ejection, and it's going to be a test on our weakening protective magnetosphere. Now, we're going to be having a steady stream of the plasma coming in starting on Friday, the 17th at 2200 UTC, which is 10 p.m. Now, this is the universal time, so if you're on the west coast of North America, minus 7 hours, which would be about 3 p.m. this Friday the 17th, and it's going to be lasting for about 11 hours. So going on till about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. High-level impact. Now, NOAA, Space Weather Prediction Center, is saying that it's going to reach G2 moderate geomagnetic conditions, storm conditions. Don't be surprised, because this has happened lots of times in the past, if that is elevated to G3 strong geomagnetic storm conditions. That's just what I've seen in the past. So we can expect, and I've been through this before, and I'm very happy to keep on going through it. All right. There is no look at the playlist so he can make his money because he needs his 4,000 watched hours. No. I just finished, my first day starting homeschooling my daughter, teacher dad, and now I'm here with you, happy to do it. No charge, free of charge. So basically the three things we're going to watch out for is the neurological, neuropsychological, and physiological effects that a lot of us are going to be experiencing. First, the neurological effects, and many of us have already experienced from the initial solar flares popping off from our sun, but now we have an incoming coronal mass ejection. So we're going to see what that's going to do to us. Headaches, frontal lobe pressure, maybe even pain behind the eyeballs, and or stabbing temporal region. Dizziness, feeling unwell, Maybe we just want to sit down, lie down. Vertigo. Tinnitus, which is ringing in the ear. Common for people who have vestibular schwannoma, which is a tumor in the brainstem. It's common. My wife has it. And depending on which nerve it pinches, quite often the auditorial nerve, you can get tinnitus, ringing in the ear. So those are some of the neurological effects. Neuropsychological effects, people going crazy. Cuckoo, nuts. So we can experience, perhaps not to the extreme, not yet, tongue tripping, sorry, cosmic rays. Irrational, moody, behavioral changes. Being argumentative with people, loss of cognitive functions. You can go into acts of rage. Some people who are predisposed to psychosis, going into a psychotic event, the nicest, kindest person can snap and turn into a monster. I know one. So the neurological effects of the cosmic radiation on the brain. And let's not forget about people who already have their mental health issues who are going to be affected. Especially our children. I keep on speaking of our children. Autistic spectrum disorder, autism, anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD, any other mental health issues may be amplified. You got to watch out for them. Please keep that in mind. The physiological changes could be watch any loved ones, friends, family who have any heart conditions, as well as MS, multiple sclerosis. Again, the effects of the highly charged particles on the brain, which operates off of electrical impulses, MS. Even people with arthritis like me. I have degenerative disc disease of the spine and arthritis throughout my body. I can expect some flare-ups. So a lot of you ask me, so what can we do to help ourselves? Again, first and foremost, knowledge, having this knowledge at hand and preparing. So now we have a time frame. We know to expect starting on Friday afternoon, if you're on the west coast of North America, I want to expect so we can better prepare ourselves. As for the neurological effects, the pain, I'm a migraine sufferer. I developed migraines shortly after birth, so I have a lot of extensive research and experience in pain management. So the pain could be described as the same. It may start off with frontal lobe compression, pressure, pain behind the eyes. Migraines are always bilateral, one side of the brain. So the thing to remember is, it doesn't matter what the source of the trigger is. Your senses are hyperactive. Your sense to light, smell, and especially hearing. All those things are aggravating conditions which can amplify the pain of migraine or the effects from cosmic rays. So knowing this to add to your toolkit to prepare yourself for those who are predisposed or who are affected more than others. I know some of you, I didn't feel anything. Well, you may have been a different part of the planet. You could have been down on a concrete structure concrete or layers of concrete shown to be a protective material from incoming cosmic rays. But it's going to get you sooner or later. Smart people. So what I find is, when I feel it coming on, if I know something's coming, like for example, when a storm comes, changes in barometric pressure can trigger people with migraines or people with headaches in general. So when I know a storm's coming, I know what to expect. I'm going to plan an easy day for me. I'm going to keep the curtains closed. I don't want any bright lights coming in. I'm going to keep my Kiss rock music turned down. I don't want my wife cooking anything stinky upstairs. I'm going to try and protect the environment around me. Do the same thing for anybody under your care. Be mindful of them. If they're a migraine sufferer, what can you do to help them? A nice, cool, dark, quiet room, for example. If you're one of those that gets these dizzy spells, feeling of unwell, vertigo, think twice about doing things like working off of ladders, using dangerous tools, or any other dangerous work processes. And again, this is going to be more of an observation test to see what's really going to be happening starting this Friday. So that's pain management. Try and protect yourself from those aggravating conditions, bright lights, loud noises, smells. I find once I start feeling it, doesn't have to be a migraine, it could be a pressure headache. Cold compress. I fill up my bathroom sink full of ice cold water. I take off my glasses and I stick my forehead and hold my breath in a sink full of ice water. I may have to do that several times throughout the course of the day, but I find it helps me a lot. I'm not going to get into what goes on inside the brain and the blood vessels. In some people, the blood vessels will dilate, enlarging. Cold will help to constrict those blood vessels back to normal. So that's just for me. Like I said, I've had it since shortly after birth. I've had it for 60 years experience. So knowledge. Now we have a timing. Now you know about the hyperactive senses. And again, anybody with any mental health conditions, they could be triggered. They will be triggered. I'm speaking from experience. When there's G2 or stronger level storms coming in, you got to be really, really extra nice to those people who could be triggered. And then finally, you got to keep your temper and emotions in check, because even with all this knowledge, you can be affected as well. So just before this starts up, we can expect an intensification of their spraying up there. Now they do geoengineering, chemtrails, stratospheric aerosol injections for a number of reasons. Weather modifications, of course, they do it in Indonesia all the time. They try and build up pressure systems to keep the flood rains out. They've been doing it since the 1950s. It's nothing new. They'll spray over seismic and volcanic areas, like me, to try and mitigate or deflect those highly charged particles from coming in. The secondary showering particles, muons. It's like clockwork, man. How do I know when there's a geomagnetic storm coming out? I'll look out my window and see all the chemtrail trails, like the videos I posted today. How bad is it going to be? How many planes are there? 6. Minor solar storms coming. 8 to 10. Wow, looks like we might have a moderate one. 12 planes. Wow, it's going to be a bad geomagnetic storm. Well, I don't have any in my area. Well, maybe you don't have any volcanic regions in your area or no major fault lines. It didn't affect me. Maybe your skull is thicker. Think about the people who are affected and watch out for them. Next, all our recent earthquakes. Did I just say this? I don't remember because the cosmic rays were already hitting me because we're already getting into G1 solar storm conditions. All our recent earthquakes were not affected by any geomagnetic storm activity. So, therefore, let's say anywhere from 8 to 48 hours after Friday, Saturday, let's expect an increase in seismic and volcanic responses. Now, in New Zealand, you had a series of 6s up to 6.3 between the two islands. There's something very important to note. They also had a cyclone pass by. When you have a cyclone, the barometric pressure drops substantially. The barometric pressure can act as a form of a secondary umbrella protection from cosmic rays. You lose that barometric pressure, those cosmic rays are going to come through. The Japanese study of muons, the secondary showering particles, that triggered the 1991 Pinatubo eruption. At the same time, they had a cyclone come by. You had a cyclone come by New Zealand, and now you had earthquakes down there. So let's hope we don't have any more cyclones this Friday, Saturday, at the same time we have this plasma stream coming in. Anyway, let's just see what happens. So that's to answer some people's questions. Have you been taking your booster? Blueberries, pineapples, strawberries, and whatever else I put in there. It's my natural booster. Start getting into it, all right? That's about it for now, folks. I'll be watching carefully because the timing may change when the CME is going to be hitting us. The only reason why I found out about it is because one of my local news groups said that we had the Aurora Northern Lights down right over my head last night, and I just completely missed it. I'm way down in southern British Columbia. Again, I've been out of the loop for quite a while, getting my daughter started at homeschooling. So I've been missing a few things and trying to get caught up. Missed a whole lot of earthquakes and other things happening. So pay attention to yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones. Especially if they have any neurological problems, strokes, any cardiac issues. Make sure they're just nice and calm starting Friday. People, especially children who have any mental health issues, be very, very, very extra nice to them. They can be triggered very easily. And take care of yourselves. That's all for now, folks. Bye.